The klaxon's shriek pierced through the underground research facility, causing Dr. Maya Patel to nearly drop the crystalline artifact she'd been examining. She quickly secured the ancient relic in its containment field as emergency lights bathed her lab in pulsing red. Her hands trembled slightly, not from fear, but from excitement. After 15 years of studying xenoarchaeology, she'd finally done it. Dr. Patel. Her assistant Tom burst through the lab doors, face flushed. The energy readings, they're off the charts. What did you do? Maya's dark eyes sparkled in the crimson light. I didn't do anything, Tom. It activated on its own. She gestured to the floating crystal, now pulsing with an inner light that matched the rhythm of the alarm lights. 15 years of studying these precursor artifacts, and this is the first one that's shown any sign of life. The crystal's glow intensified, and strange symbols began appearing in the air around it, holographic projections in a language dead for millions of years. Maya's translation software worked frantically to decode them, but she already knew this was beyond its capabilities. This was something new. The holograms suddenly coalesced into a humanoid figure, tall, ethereal, with features that seemed to shift and change like smoke in the wind. Maya and Tom stood transfixed as it spoke, its voice resonating not through the air, but directly in their minds. Greetings, children of Earth. I am Axiom, last of the precursor archive keepers. Your species has been watched, evaluated, and found worthy. The great inheritance awaits. Maya stepped forward, her scientific training warring with awe. Inheritance? What inheritance? The figure's smile was both ancient and kind. When my people faced extinction, we did not merely fade away. We seeded the galaxy with our knowledge, our technology, our very essence, but only for those worthy to claim it. You, Maya Patel, have proven yourself worthy by solving the quantum resonance puzzle that protected this archive. Tom whispered, Dr. Patel, are you telling me that tapping different sequences on the crystal wasn't just you testing its molecular structure? I thought I was analyzing its crystalline matrix, Maya admitted, but apparently I was solving an ancient alien puzzle box. The hologram continued. The full inheritance includes not just knowledge, but responsibility. The precursors were not just scholars, we were guardians. Guardians of life, of balance, of the very fabric of space-time itself. Now, humanity must take up this mantle. Maya's mind raced with implications. Why us? Why now? Because darkness stirs again. Axiom's form flickered ominously. The great enemy that forced us into extinction stirs in the void between galaxies. Humanity's unique combination of innovation, adaptability, and compassion makes you ideal successors, but you must prepare. The crystal's glow intensified further, and streams of data began flowing into the lab's computers. Maya watched in amazement as formulae for technologies beyond human understanding filled screen after screen. This is only the beginning, Axiom stated. Across Earth, other archives are awakening. Other worthy humans will be called. You must find them, unite them, prepare humanity for its role in the galaxy. The inheritance is not just a gift, it is a responsibility. But how? Maya asked. How can we possibly? A new alarm cut through the facility, this one from the surface. Tom checked his tablet and paled. Dr. Pertol, there are ships entering Earth's atmosphere. Dozens of them, non-human origin. Axiom nodded gravely. The first test approaches. Remember, you were chosen for a reason. Trust in humanity's strength, in its ability to face the unknown with courage and wisdom. The hologram began to fade. We will speak again, Maya Patel. For now, know this, humanity's greatest trial and its greatest triumph begins today. The stars themselves watch and wait to see how you will wield your inheritance. As the hologram vanished, Maya stood straighter, squared her shoulders. She'd spent her life studying the past, but now the future beckoned. Tom, contact the Global Science Council. Tell them everything has changed. Above, the first alien ships breached the atmosphere, their arrival heralding a new chapter in human history. Humanity's moment had arrived, ready or not. And in a small underground lab, clutching an ancient crystal that held the legacy of a long-dead race, Maya Patel prepared to face whatever came next. The inheritance was claimed, the trial had begun, and humanity would prove itself worthy or face extinction trying. The alien ships hung in Earth's sky like obsidian teardrops, their dark hulls reflecting the morning sun. In the 12 hours since their arrival, global panic had given way to an uneasy quiet. They hadn't attacked. They hadn't even made contact. They just waited. Maya stood before the hastily assembled Global Defense Council, her hands steady as she held up the still-glowing crystal. Military leaders, politicians, and scientists from every major nation filled the underground bunker, their faces illuminated by the crystal's pulsing light. The ships arrived exactly when the precursor AI predicted, Maya explained. This isn't an invasion, it's a response to the archive's activation. They're here for the inheritance. General Saro Chen, commander of the Pan-Asian Defense Force, leaned forward. And you're certain this inheritance isn't a trap? Plenty of civilizations fell by accepting gifts from their conquerors. Before Maya could respond, the crystal flared. Axiom's holographic form materialized, causing several council members to reach for weapons that had been confiscated at the door. Your caution is wise, General Chen, the A's voice echoed through their minds. But unnecessary. The ships above belong to the Wardens, an alliance of species who have guarded the galaxy since our departure. They come not to conquer, but to witness. The bunker's main screen activated, showing real-time footage of the alien vessels. As they watched, the ships began to move, arranging themselves in a complex geometric pattern high above Earth's atmosphere. The trial of inheritance begins, Axiom announced. Humanity must prove itself worthy of the precursor legacy. The Wardens will present 3 challenges. Success means acceptance into the galactic community and access to the full archive. Failure means extinction. Someone in the back called out. No. Axiom's form shifted, showing glimpses of strained worlds and ancient battles. Failure means you face what comes alone. The darkness between galaxies grows hungry. Without the knowledge and technology of the precursors, Earth will have no defense when it arrives. Maya stepped forward. You mentioned other archives activating. Other chosen humans. Where are they? The crystal projected a global map, points of light flaring across every continent. Even now, they make their way here. Scientists, philosophers, artists, those whose minds can grasp the responsibilities of guardianship. They will be humanity's guides through the trials. As if on cue, the bunker doors opened. A dozen people entered, men and women of various ages and ethnicities, each carrying a crystal similar to Maya's. She recognized some of them. Dr. James Chen, the quantum physicist, Dr. Aisha Roman, the biomechanical engineer, Professor Carlos Mendoza, the xenolinguist. The first challenge approaches, Axiom announced as the newcomers joined Maya. The Wardens test not just ability, but wisdom. They will present Earth with a choice, one that will reveal much about humanity's readiness. The bunker's screens flickered, showing a new ship descending through the atmosphere. Unlike the obsidian vessels above, this one shimmered like liquid mercury. It landed on the plains outside the bunker complex, a ramp extending to the ground. Dr. Petal, General Chen stood. As the first to activate an archive, you'll lead humanity's delegation. Choose your team carefully. Whatever comes down that ramp will judge us all by your response. Maya looked at her fellow archive holders, seeing the same mix of fear and determination in their eyes. We go together, she declared. The inheritance wasn't given to one person or nation. It belongs to all humanity. The other crystal bearers nodded, stepping forward to join her. As they made their way to the surface, Maya felt the weight of history on her shoulders. Humanity's first official contact with alien life, and she would help lead it. The silver ship loomed before them as they emerged from the bunker. The air hummed with energy, making their crystals resonate in harmony. At the bottom of the ramp stood 3 figures, each so alien that Maya's mind struggled to process their forms. The central figure, a being of shifting light and geometric patterns, spoke in a voice that bypassed their ears entirely. "Children of Earth, we are the Wardens. Your trial begins with a choice." 2 objects materialized in the air before them. One was a cube of pure darkness, seeming to absorb the very light around it. The other was a sphere of swirling energy, beautiful but unstable. The cube contains the coordinates of every hostile species in the galaxy, those who would harm Earth if given the chance. The sphere holds the cure for humanity's most devastating diseases. You may choose one. Choose wisely. Maya looked at her fellow archive holders, seeing the same realization in their eyes. This wasn't just a choice between defense and healing, it was a test of character. The fate of humanity hung on their next words, and Maya knew exactly what they had to do. Maya stepped forward, her crystal pulsing in sync with those held by her fellow archive holders. The alien wardens waited silently, their forms shimmering in the morning sun. Behind them, the silver ship hummed with barely contained energy. "We reject both gifts," Maya announced clearly, causing murmurs of shock from the human observers behind her. The geometric patterns making up the central warden's form shifted rapidly. "Explain." "The coordinates of hostile species would tempt us toward preemptive violence," Maya began. "The medical cures, while beneficial, would make us dependent on external solutions rather than developing our own. Neither choice serves humanity's growth." Dr. Aisha Roman stepped forward, her own crystal glowing brighter. "More importantly, this choice reveals an assumption that we must choose between defense and healing. Humanity's strength lies in finding third options, in refusing false dichotomies." Professor Mendoza joined them. "We recognize these gifts for what they are, shortcuts. The precursor inheritance isn't about shortcuts. It's about responsibility, about earning our place among the stars." The wardens remained silent for a long moment. Then, surprisingly, a sound like crystalline chimes filled the air. They were laughing. "Well-reasoned, children of Earth," the central warden's voice resonated in their minds. "You see beyond the obvious. The first trial is past." The cube and sphere dissolved into motes of light. In their place appeared a holographic display of the galaxy, with Earth highlighted in brilliant blue. "Your world now stands at a crossroads," the warden continued. "The great darkness approaches, yes, but there are more immediate concerns. Even now, various galactic factions move to either aid or exploit your emerging civilization." The hologram zoomed in on several nearby star systems, showing fleets of ships moving through space. Some bore markings similar to the warden's vessels, while others appeared more predatory in design. The consortium of trade seeks to make Earth a client world, dependent on their technology. The militant collective views your military potential with both fear and desire. The harmonious convergence believes humanity too unstable to join galactic society. Maya studied the hologram intently. "And where do the wardens stand?" "We stand as observers and judges," came the reply. "But now you face your second trial. 3 diplomatic envoys approach Earth, one from each faction. You must navigate their competing interests while protecting humanity's independence." Dr. James Chen frowned at the display. "These factions, they don't know about the precursor inheritance." "No. The archives remain secret, known only to the wardens. This is by design. How humanity handles these diplomatic challenges will reveal much about your species' readiness for the full inheritance." Suddenly, alarms blared from the bunker complex. General Chen's voice crackled over the comms. Multiple ships just emerged from faster-than-light travel. They're heading straight for Earth. The hologram updated, showing 3 distinct fleet formations approaching. The warden's form flickered with what might have been concern. "They arrive sooner than expected. You must prepare quickly. Remember, How you handle this diplomatic crisis will determine more than just Earth's status in the galaxy. It will show whether humanity can balance wisdom with strength. Maya turned to her fellow archive holders. We need to organize. Dr. Roman, work with the scientists to analyze the alien ship's capabilities. Professor Mendoza, gather every linguistic expert you can find. Dr. Chen, we'll need quantum communications to coordinate globally. And you? Aisha asked. Maya's grip tightened on her crystal. I'm going to have a longer chat with our friend Axim. If we're hosting 3 competing alien delegations, we need to understand the full scope of galactic politics. The wardens began retreating to their ship. We will watch, but cannot interfere. The choices and consequences must be yours alone. As the silver ship lifted off, Maya felt a familiar presence in her mind. Axim's voice, stronger now, whispered, "The game begins in earnest. Remember, young guardian, in diplomacy, as in physics, every action has an equal and opposite reaction. Choose carefully." The sky above filled with new lights as the 3 alien fleets took up positions around Earth. Humanity's next trial had arrived, and this time there would be no simple right or wrong answer. The United Nations Assembly Hall had never seen a more diverse gathering. Humans from every nation sat alongside 3 distinct groups of alien delegates. The consortium of trade representatives floated in anti-gravity pods, their crystalline bodies refracting light in mesmerizing patterns. The militant collective's delegates stood rigid in biomechanical armor, their 4 eyes constantly scanning for threats. The harmonious convergence sent beings that seemed made of living smoke, their forms shifting and swirling. Maya sat with her fellow archive holders, their crystals carefully concealed. Action's warning echoed in her mind. The greatest power often lies in what remains hidden. The Secretary General opened the proceedings. Honored delegates, welcome to Earth. We are humbled by. Spare us the pleasantries, the militant collective's leader interrupted, voice harsh through the translation matrix. We've monitored your broadcasts. We know your world teeters on the edge of multiple crises, environmental, economic, social. You need help. We offer strength. The consortium's representative chimed in, their crystalline forms sparkling. Help that would cost you dearly. The collective would turn Earth into a military factory. We offer trade, technology, prosperity. Both paths lead to dependence. The smoky form of the convergence delegate swirled. Your species is too volatile, too divided. You require guidance, harmony, unity. Maya noticed how each delegation subtly positioned their arguments to undermine the others. This wasn't just about Earth. There were deeper conflicts at play. Dr. Chen leaned close and whispered, "They're all lying, or at least hiding something. Our quantum scans show their ships are positioned for more than just diplomacy." Maya nodded slightly. The warden's test was becoming clear. This wasn't just about choosing allies, but about understanding the true nature of galactic politics. She stood, drawing all eyes. "Distinguished delegates, we thank you for your offers. But before we proceed, we have questions. Starting with, why now?" The delegates shifted uncomfortably. Maya pressed on. "Earth has been broadcasting for decades. Why did all 3 of your factions arrive simultaneously?" "The timing is irrelevant," the militant collective delegate growled. "What matters is, the timing is everything," Maya interrupted. She nodded to Professor Mendoza, who activated a holographic display. "Our analysts have been studying your ship formations. They're not diplomatic escorts, they're invasion fleets." The assembly erupted in chaos. The alien delegates began talking over each other, their carefully crafted facades cracking. "You dare accuse. This is outrageous. Your primitive understanding." Maya's voice cut through the noise. "We also detect massive energy buildups in your vessels. Whatever you're planning, it's happening soon. So let's stop pretending. What's really bringing 3 hostile factions to our doorstep?" Silence fell. Then, surprisingly, the convergence delegate laughed, a sound like wind through caves. clever humans. You're right. We're not here for diplomacy. We're here because of what you found." The other delegates tensed. Maya's heart raced. They couldn't know about the archives, could they? The energy signature, the consortium representative chimed. When it activated, we all detected it. Something ancient, something powerful. Something precursor, the militant collective delegate finished. You found their technology. That makes your world too dangerous to leave alone. Maya exchanged glances with her fellow archive holders. This was bad. If they knew about the archives. Suddenly, every crystal they carried pulsed in unison. Axum's voice filled their minds. The true test begins. Show them humanity's worth. The alien delegates were still arguing when Maya noticed something on the holographic display. Behind the diplomatic fleets, space itself seemed to ripple. "Dr. Chen," she whispered urgently, "those energy readings." He checked his instruments and paled. Massive distortions, something's coming through. Something big. Before anyone could react, a hole in space tore open. Through it emerged a ship that dwarfed all others, a massive construct of impossible geometry and dark purpose. Axum's voice rang with urgency. "The darkness arrives early. Now, Guardians, prove humanity's right to the inheritance. Show them why the precursors chose you." As panic erupted in the assembly hall, Maya stood firm. They'd been so focused on the diplomatic game, they'd missed the real threat. But maybe that was the point. Maybe this crisis would show that humanity could rise above petty politics when faced with a true enemy. She raised her crystal high, its light cutting through the chaos. "Everyone stop. Look out there. While we argue over Earth's future, something worse than any of us comes to ensure we have no future at all." The alien delegates turned to the display, and for the first time, Maya saw real fear in their alien features. "We have a choice," she declared. "Continue our power plays and face annihilation, or stand together against what comes from the void. What's it going to be?" The massive dark ship loomed closer, and Earth's moment of truth arrived. The dark ship's arrival had changed everything. In the UN Assembly Hall, former adversaries huddled around holographic displays, all thoughts of conquest forgotten in the face of ancient horror. Maya watched as the alien delegates shared terrified glances. They knew what that ship represented. "The Void Harbinger," the Convergence delegate whispered, their smoky form condensing in fear. "We thought it was just a legend." Dr. Roman's crystal pulsed as she studied the readings. That ship, it's consuming energy from space itself, creating a dead zone around it. It heralds their return. The militant collective commander growled. The destroyers of the precursors themselves. Maya felt Axum's presence strengthen in her mind. "Now you understand. This is why we chose humanity. Not for your technology or your military might, but for your greatest strength, the ability to unite in the face of adversity." The massive vessel now filled most of their view screens, its impossible geometry hurting the eyes of anyone who looked too long. Around it, stars began to dim. "We need to evacuate Earth," the consortium representative chimed frantically. "Our ships can." "No," Maya interrupted. "We stand and fight." She turned to her fellow archive holders. "Axiom, the archives contain precursor weapons technology, don't they?" "Yes," the heir responded. "But using them requires perfect synchronization between all crystal bearers. No single species has ever managed it. The energy required would burn out most minds." "But we're not alone." Maya looked at the alien delegates. "Each of your species has unique abilities. The consortium's crystalline minds process energy patterns. The collective's neural networks handle complex calculations. The Convergence's fluid consciousness adapts to any situation." Professor Mendoza caught on. "And humans, we bridge gaps. We make connections others don't see." "A synthesis," Dr. Chen nodded. "Not just of technology, but of minds." The alien delegates stared at the humans with new understanding. The Convergence leader swirled thoughtfully. "You would trust us?" After our deception, we don't have a choice, Maya replied. But more than that, this is what humanity does. We turn enemies into allies. We find strength in diversity. The ground shook as the Void Harbinger's first attack hit Earth's atmosphere. Alarms blared throughout the complex. We need to decide now, Maya insisted, together or not at all. The three alien leaders exchanged looks, then stepped forward. The militant collective commander spoke first. The collective stands with Earth. The consortium joins this alliance, the crystalline being chimed. The convergence adds its strength, the smoky form solidified with determination. Maya nodded to her fellow archive holders. They formed a circle, crystals raised. The alien delegates joined them, each contributing their unique abilities to the merge. Axiom's voice resonated through all of them. The precursor defense network was never meant for one species alone. It requires harmony, the perfect balance of different minds working as one. Energy began flowing between the crystals, connecting all participants in a neural network unlike anything ever attempted. Maya felt her consciousness expand, touching alien minds, sharing thoughts and memories across species barriers. Through their combined awareness, they saw the Void Harbinger clearly for the first time. It wasn't just a ship, it was a tear in reality itself, a window into the space between galaxies where things that should not exist waited hungrily. "The weapon is charging," Dr. Chen announced, his voice strained. "But the energy requirements—" "We can handle it," the consortium delegate chimed, their crystalline form redirecting power through their natural matrices. Calculations stabilizing, the collective added, their neural networks processing at impossible speeds. Consciousness merge holding steady, the convergence reported, their fluid minds keeping the links stable. Maya felt the power building to impossible levels. Through their shared awareness, she sensed the Void Harbinger preparing another attack, one that would devastate Earth's surface. "Now," she commanded. The assembled crystals flared with blinding light. From every archive site around the globe, energy beams shot skyward, converging in orbit. The precursor weapon took form, not a destructive beam or explosive force, but something far more fundamental. It was a key, unlocking the very fabric of space-time. Around the Void Harbinger, reality began to knit itself back together, sealing the tear that allowed it passage. The massive ship writhed, its impossible geometry trying to maintain its hold on normal space. Through their merged consciousness, Maya felt the struggle, not just of energy and physics, but of will. "Hold the line," she called out, feeling minds beginning to strain under the pressure. "We're not just fighting for Earth, we're fighting for every world that thing would devour." In that moment, something remarkable happened. The gathered beings, human and alien alike, found perfect synchronization. Their merged consciousness became a sword of pure thought, cutting through the Void Harbinger's defenses. The ship began to fold in on itself, its connection to the void between galaxies severed. With a reality-bending implosion, it vanished. The neural link dissolved slowly, leaving everyone gasping and changed by the experience. Maya looked around the room at humans and aliens supporting each other, all previous hostility forgotten in the wake of shared victory. Axiom's voice, now audible to all, filled the chamber. And so the true inheritance is revealed. Not weapons or technology, but the power of unity. The ability to overcome differences in the face of mutual survival. This is why humanity was chosen, not to stand alone, but to bring together that which was scattered. The alien delegates looked at their former enemies with new understanding. The Void Harbinger was gone, but its arrival had achieved what centuries of diplomacy could not: true cooperation between species. As the adrenaline faded, Maya realized this wasn't the end, it was just the beginning. 1 week after the Void Harbinger's defeat, Earth had changed beyond recognition. The skies above every major city now hosted ships from all three alien factions, but not as conquerors, as partners. The shared mental link during the battle had done more than defeat an ancient enemy. It had forged understanding across species barriers. Maya stood in the newly established Galactic Cooperation Center, formerly the UN building, watching representatives from Earth and the alien factions working together. The memory of their merged consciousness still lingered, making diplomatic relations surprisingly smooth. "It's remarkable," Dr. Roman said, joining her at the window. "Yesterday, I watched consortium scientists and human engineers design a new clean energy system in hours. The language barrier doesn't even matter anymore, they just understand each other." "The neural link changed us all," Maya replied, touching her crystal. It still pulsed with energy, but differently now, as if awakened to new possibilities. "Axiom says it's unprecedented. No species has ever maintained a connection after using the precursor defense network." The militant collective commander, now known to them as Crix, approached. His biomechanical armor had been modified to appear less threatening. "The changes go deeper than cooperation. Our scientists report that humans who participated in the link are developing abilities." Maya nodded. She'd noticed it herself, flashes of telepathy, enhanced intuition, sometimes even glimpses of possible futures. The merger had awakened something dormant in human consciousness. "The precursors designed their inheritance well," Professor Mendoza commented, studying data on a holographic display. "They didn't just give us technology, they gave us evolution." A soft chime announced the arrival of the Warden's ship. The crystalline vessel descended from orbit, landing in the specially constructed dock outside the center. This time, all three Wardens emerged, their geometric forms more defined than before. "The trial is complete," they announced in unison, their voice reaching everyone's minds. "But it was not what you thought." Maya stepped forward. "The Void Harbinger, it wasn't really trying to invade, was it?" "No," the Central Warden confirmed. "It was the final test. A catalyst to force cooperation between species who would otherwise remain divided. The true inheritance could only be unlocked through unity." The assembled delegates murmured in surprise. The consortium representative chimed thoughtfully. "Then our initial hostility was expected," the Wardens explained. "The precursors knew that advanced civilizations tend toward isolation and competition. They designed their legacy to require something more." Dr. Chen frowned. But the danger felt real. The fear, the pressure, it was real. Axiom's voice joined in as the AI manifested its holographic form. "The ship was a construct, yes, but the threat it represented exists. The void between galaxies hunges. When it truly comes, you will need the strength you found together." Maya looked around at the gathered beings, humans and aliens working side by side, their differences becoming strengths rather than barriers. "So what happens now?" The Warden's forms brightened. "Now, the real work begins. The precursor archives contain more than weapons and technology. They hold the keys to understanding the universe itself. But that knowledge can only be accessed through continued cooperation." A safeguard, Maya realized, ensuring we don't just unite in crisis, but remain united in peace. "Precisely," Action confirmed. "Already, your merged consciousness has unlocked abilities the precursors themselves possessed. As you work together, more will awaken." The Harmonious Convergence delegate, their smoky form now tinged with optimistic colors, spoke up. "We've received reports from our homeworld. The changes aren't limited to Earth. All our species are experiencing evolutionary leaps." "The next stage of galactic civilization," Crix nodded. "Not competition, but synthesis." Maya felt a familiar energy building, not the desperate power they'd wielded in the Harbinger, but something deeper, more fundamental. The crystals throughout the room began to pulse in harmony. "The archives are synchronized," Axiom announced. "The full inheritance awaits. But remember, with great power comes great responsibility. The choices you make now will echo across millennia." The Wardens raised their geometric forms. "We leave you now. Our role as observers ends. The future belongs to this new alliance. As the wardens departed, Maya looked at the diverse group of beings surrounding her. Former enemies now stood as friends, their minds linked by shared experience and common purpose. The path ahead would not be easy, but they would walk it together. So, she smiled. Who's ready to explore the universe? The crystals pulsed with shared excitement. A new age of discovery and cooperation beckoned. Humanity had not just survived its trial, it had helped forge a future brighter than anyone could have imagined. Above Earth, the stars seemed to shine more brilliantly, as if welcoming this new unified force to their depths. The inheritance was claimed, the alliance forged, and the greatest adventure in history was about to begin. 1 year after Earth's transformation into a galactic hub, Maya stood on the observation deck of Harmony Station, the massive space installation that now orbited Earth. Through the quantum glass windows, she watched ships from dozens of civilizations dock and depart, some from the original alliance, others newly discovered species drawn to this unprecedented cooperation. Still hard to believe sometimes, isn't it? Dr. Roman appeared beside her, her crystal now elegantly integrated into a collar device. Like all archive holders, they'd learned to control their enhanced abilities, though surprises still occurred. That humanity went from arguing over borders to helping establish interstellar trade routes. Just a bit, Maya smiled, remembering how far they'd come. The station's ally, a merger of Axiom and various alien computational systems, announced incoming priority transmission from the Deep Space Initiative. A holographic screen materialized, showing Professor Mendoza's excited face. His expedition team had been exploring the edges of known space, following coordinates found in the precursor archives. Maya, everyone, you need to see this. His image was replaced by a view that made everyone on the observation deck gasp. A massive structure floated in the void, a ring-shaped installation that seemed to be made of pure energy. We found it. Mendoza's voice crackled with excitement. The precursor's final project. It's not just a space station, it's a gateway. Crix, who now served as the head of Unified Defense, stepped forward. His biomechanical armor had evolved alongside him, becoming more organic. A gateway to where? Everywhere, Mendoza replied. The archives weren't just about defending against the void or advancing technology. They were building points of connection between galaxies, safe passages through the darkness. Maya felt the familiar tingle of shared consciousness as more people joined the conversation mentally. The consortium's representatives added their analysis, their crystalline minds processing the implications. The convergence delegates swirled with excited possibilities. The precursors didn't just die out. Maya realized, pieces clicking into place. They evolved beyond our realm of existence, but they left us the tools to follow. Dr. Chen, now heading the Unified Science Council, pulled up additional data. These gateways, they're not just for travel, they're stabilization points, ways to strengthen the fabric of reality against the void's influence. And we found dozens more, Mendoza added, all waiting to be reactivated. But it will take all of us, working together, to manage the network. Maya smiled. Just as the precursors intended, they didn't just want successors, they wanted partners who could maintain and expand their work. The station hummed with energy as more minds joined the discussion. What had once been overwhelming, the merging of consciousness across species, now felt natural. They had learned to maintain that individuality while sharing thoughts and experiences, creating a new form of civilization. There's more, Mendoza continued. The gateway is receiving signals from other galaxies. We're not alone in this endeavor. Other species, other alliances, have found their own precursor archives. They're waiting to connect. The implications were staggering. Not just unity within one galaxy, but across the cosmos itself. A network of civilizations working together to protect existence itself from the encroaching void. Axiom's presence joined the communal consciousness. This was always the final goal. Not just survival, but transcendence. The precursors saw potential in all of you, not just humans, but every species. Together, you can achieve what none could do alone. Maya looked around at the beings she now called friends and allies. A year ago, they had been strangers, enemies even. Now they were part of something greater, a cosmic community bound by shared purpose and understanding. Well, she said, both aloud and mentally, shall we make history again? The response came not in words but in feelings, excitement, determination, and hope flowing through their shared connection. The next great adventure awaited, and this time they were ready. As Harmony Station adjusted its orbit to begin preparations for the Gateway project, Maya reflected on humanity's journey. They had been chosen not for their technology or their strength, but for their ability to bring others together, to find common ground in the face of adversity. The stars beckoned, not just with promises of discovery, but with the opportunity to forge connections across the cosmic void. The precursors' legacy was complete, not in the technology they left behind, but in the unity they inspired. Above Earth, the Gateway expedition prepared to depart. Below, billions of beings, human and alien alike, looked to the future with hope and purpose. The next chapter in the universe's story was about to begin, and everyone would write it together. The end.